He swore to protect the town. But beneath his home lay the evidence of 10 unsolved murders. This is the story of Sheriff Daniel Cross, and the basement no one was ever meant to see. Millstone, Pennsylvania. Population, 4,200. The kind of place where people wave from their porches, where church bells mark the hour, and where Sheriff Cross had been the town's pride for nearly 2 decades. Sergeant Michael Grady wasn't just the police department's best investigator. He was a department. He'd pulled kids out of burning homes, found missing hikers in snowstorms, and comforted grieving parents after tragedies. People said if Mike's on the case, justice will be served. He solved crimes no one else could. He attended every town hall. He even paid for groceries when someone was short. But in October of 2016, Sheriff Cross didn't show up for roll call. At first, his fellow officers assumed he'd taken a personal day. But by evening, with no calls, no messages, and no sign of him, the department launched a search. His cruiser was found parked neatly outside the station. His hat was on the passenger seat, but his service weapon? Gone. At first, people feared the worst. Maybe he'd been taken by one of the criminals he'd put away. Search teams combed the surrounding woods. Drones scanned the river. Neighbors opened their doors to search teams. Volunteers went door to door. That night, the town gathered for a vigil outside the police station. Candles flickered. People prayed. Nobody could imagine harm coming to him. Not Michael. 2 days later, a deputy named Ryan Holt was assigned to search Michael's property again. This time with a forensic team. In the backyard, near the edge of the woods, Holt noticed something odd. A section of the ground looked recently disturbed, though no snow had fallen there. They brought in a cadaver dog. Within minutes, the dog froze and barked. The ground was soft, too soft. When they dug, they didn't find the sheriff. They found a trapdoor. It led to a staircase that descended into darkness. The air was damp. The walls were lined with shelves. And on those shelves were boxes. On one wall hung evidence boards, each labeled with the names of missing people from Willow Ridge and nearby towns. 10 boards, 10 cases, all officially unsolved. Beneath them, on steel tables, lay personal items tagged and bagged. Necklaces, wallets, children's toys, a chest freezer. When they opened it, the smell was so overpowering they nearly slammed it shut. Inside were remains, human remains, later confirmed to be all 10 victims from unsolved local cases. Cases Sheriff Cross himself had been investigating. When the forensics team ran the evidence through the system, every single victim was tied to a case Michael himself had worked on. He hadn't just investigated these crimes. He was the perpetrator. The department star detective had been using his badge to gain access to victims, control crime scenes, and destroy leads before anyone else could find them. It was the perfect cover, until his own disappearance unraveled everything. 3 days later, hikers found Michael's body deep in the state forest. Gunshot wound to the head. No weapon nearby. The medical examiner ruled it a homicide, but the case file went cold almost immediately. Some believed one of the victims' families had found out the truth and delivered their own justice. Others whispered that Michael had an accomplice. Someone still out there. Someone who couldn't risk him being caught alive. The town never held another candlelight vigil. Michael Grady's name was removed from the police memorial, his commendation stripped, his framed portrait taken down from the station walls. But in the homes of Willow Ridge, his ghost lingers, not the kind in the shadows, but the kind that makes you question whether you ever really knew the people you trusted most. Because sometimes the hero isn't the man who saves you. Sometimes he's the one you needed saving from. But one thing is certain. In Millstone, the sound of church bells no longer means safety. It means someone's missing.